Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all today? So, shots fired at FBI agents. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. We're headed down right now to Mound City, Kansas at the Sugar Mound Festival, where Kelly sets up a booth every fall. It's a great festival. If any of you are close by Mound City, this weekend, come on by. We're in a building called the Harvest Basket, and she'll be selling... Oh, you selling soap this weekend?
Yep.
Okay. She's selling soap and t-shirts and Christmas ornaments, and it's kind of a mixture of her old business and our new business. So a good time is had by all. Well, anyway, as I got on the highway, I checked my phone and saw that there was oh, good, it's starting to rain, and I forgot to put on a new windshield wiper. Oh, well. So there was a new item that FBI agents were fired upon in Warsaw, Missouri. Now, there's two interesting things about that, because we're going to be in Warsaw next weekend at a show, and we have land close by Warsaw. The story is, and I'll talk after I give the bare details that we have of this. I'll talk about why I think this might be important. Warsaw, Missouri, for those who don't know, is in central Missouri. It's at the entrance to what they consider the Lake Country, Lake of the Ozarks, if you ever heard that. I know a lot of people have seen that series Ozark on, I don't know if it was on one of those streaming services. The Ozarks is a very interesting part of the country. So anyway, Warsaw is on the northern edge of that. The bare bones story that we got is that FBI agents were conducting an investigation at a home. As they approached, I suppose, they were fired upon. They say they didn't return fire. They were obviously accompanied by local law enforcement. Whether Warsaw PD was there or not, I don't know, but I'm sure that the sheriff was there. Maybe highway patrol. Just kind of depends on how big of an operation it was and what kind of secondary and third layer security they needed. But the important part is that as the FBI was going up to the house, they were fired on. Now, like I say, they say they did not return fire. Why that was, I don't know. There are 3 subjects under arrest. Wow, looky where we are already. How did we get here so fast?
You're not driving like you usually do.
Yeah, because I'm driving like Kelly usually does. See, I usually take my time. I enjoy the trees and the butterflies and things like that. But anyway, we're coming up on a Civil War battlefield site here. I won't talk about that on this one. The important thing here is that FBI was fired on. Missouri, and it's kind of interesting that I noticed that there's a Civil War battlefield right up the road here in about a mile. What a lot of people don't realize is that Missouri was fighting the so-called Civil War, and I'll use that term even though it's improper, starting in about 1855, long before it really started raging farther back east. And that's because this is a border area. It was a border area between, Missouri, and in Kansas, that they were trying to come in. It was being determined whether they were going to come in as a slave state or a free state, and that's not important in this. But Missouri has always had that reputation for, and I should say earned reputation of leave me alone. And the things that we've seen from the FBI over the last, some would say since Ruby Ridge, but certainly over the last 8 to 12 years, we've seen that agency is much different than their years of marketing tried to build them as. And I have no idea what the situation was on this operation in Warsaw, but I think that there's a possibility, I'll put it this way, I think there's a possibility that we may see more things flashing as certain groups of citizens, and I emphasize that, citizens of the United States, citizens of Missouri, citizens of each of the states, when people have worked hard all their lives and held tight to the ideals on which our country was based, the ideals of freedom and liberty and self-determination, when they've seen our country torn apart, when they've seen corruption at the highest levels of government, and they've seen that covered up and even enabled by the FBI and others, the simmering can quickly become a boil. And I'm not saying any of this for sure, but I'm saying that that's a feeling that I have. And as the corruption continues and our law enforcement agencies continue to be found to be enablers of the corruption, the resentment on the part of the citizens is going to continue to increase. I was going to say on another one, and I don't remember who said this. It's been in the last few days I heard somebody. Oh yeah, it was Dan Bongino. He said that the FBI ought to be disbanded. Well, a lot of us have said that for years, but they should be. It's beyond saving, because the corruption is at the top, and whatever good people are in the bureau, I don't think it can be saved at this point, and I don't think that it should even be saved. The idea that there needs to be federal law enforcement is very questionable in my mind, and the idea that there should be federal criminal laws is I disagree with that. There's no reason for there to be federal criminal laws. That's what the states are for. But anyway, I didn't mean to get into all that. The thing is that FBI agents were fired on. It wouldn't surprise me a bit as I drive by some Trump flags on the left waving in the breeze. Trump 2024. I know all of you don't agree with that. That's all right. You can have your opinion. I'll have mine. We're entering a Mound City, Kansas right now, and it's a pretty little town. I think we could start seeing more flashes like this, and if you get enough flashes, you're going to have a fire. And we've seen these things start before, and we've seen what they can turn into. So anyway, everybody be careful. Keep your eyes open. Prepare for what you need. If you don't have what you need to protect yourself, to sustain yourself and your family, now's the time to get it. Because also these things are going to be used to push for more control over what we can and cannot, well, I won't say can and cannot do, what they don't want us to do. I'll put it that way. Okay, we're pulling in here, and I had better. By the way, Mound City, I talk about Mound City in one of my books. I forget which one. It's either the revival of the new or the renewal, and I talk about Warsaw, Missouri. I talk a lot about Warsaw, Missouri in one of the books. It's either the renewal or an appeal to heaven. I forget which. So yeah, we're very familiar with these areas. Okay, I'm going to get off. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And the more these things happen, the shorter the time is going to be that gives us the opportunities we need to get us prepared as we want to. All right, you all have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.